I'm not saying this to dunk on Redditors or anyone who got in, only to say that the way to defeat the ultra-rich in America is not through defeating a single hedge fund on a temporary basis. It's to defeat them for all time to come. People's inclinations that the system is unfair and rigged against them is not wrong. People's inclination that they deserve a slice of the pie is not incorrect. But what I fear is that this story is being hijacked by those with a fundamentally free market libertarian outlook of the world and of our economy and markets. The emerging meta takeaway from a lot of the discourse celebrating the story is one in which it tells young people online who are rightfully angry at seeing their fathers lose their jobs or homes in 2008, watching their personal debt load explode, being unable to leave home, to get married, to have a kid because they have to work hard, is simply to do what the billionaires have done and speculate your way to the top. I fundamentally reject this view because it's actually deeply nihilist in a way. The only actors in our system are not just the ultra-rich and you. We actually have something better. It's called the government. I know a million eyes are rolling out there, but hear me out, because I think this is important. How exactly do you think the ultra-rich got control of everything? Because they are the ones who understand how to manipulate power through donations, through hiring ex-politicians, ex-regulators, creating a revolving door of the American elite. But here's the good news. There is one thing that they don't control, and that is our votes. Even more important, now with the internet, they do not control our ability to donate or organize en masse. What actually inspired me most about the Reddit story is that fundamentally it is one of those online collectively organizing to do damage to a group of elites. There is immense power in that episode. Now imagine this. What if those who made gains on their stock on Reddit decided to come together and donate or organize for politicians who support reining in our hedge fund industry? Or donate or support politicians who want $2,000 checks. Or donate or organize for politicians who want to increase capital gains taxes and crack down on high-frequency traders who front-run retail investors. Or fundamentally just want to support people who want to make people's lives better directly at the expense of the people who've been getting away with this for so long. That's the only way out of this, and I know that's very frustrating for a lot of people to hear. The common response that I've heard to this criticism is that I'm naive and that the system is so corrupt and so thoroughly sold out, there's no point in doing that. I get it. Things are bad. But giving up isn't the answer, and neither is just simply trying to play the elite's game, but in a way that may beat them. Because in one way, the critics are correct in this. In the status quo, just like a casino, the house always wins. Robinhood has raised $3 billion in additional capital after this episode. They're going to be fine. Melvin Capital got a cash injection. Their benefactor Steve Cohen has opened a new fund and is still worth billions. Many of the largest holders of GameStop stock themselves were major street players like BlackRock. They're going to be fine, okay? They do control the current state of affairs. The only way to change things is to exactly through changing the state of affairs themselves, which is only truly possible through government action. The state seems feckless because we have let it get that way. But it wasn't always this way. We've had long periods in our history of people collectively saying that the way things are working are wrong, that too much power is concentrated at the top, and they have demanded from their government that their leaders do more. Teddy Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, FDR, JFK, and LBJ. The only way those social and political movements worked was by taking the will of the people and translating it into policy. It's a real headache. But what's worse is that Trump is superimposed on all of it. McCarthy's chief aim since Trump left office has been trying to present a united front. For what exactly, nobody knows. But he can see clearly that if he ever wants to be Speaker of the House, that having internal wars over Trump probably isn't going to be how it happens. So he's made his pilgrimage down to Mar-a-Lago, and he begged the former president to intervene. He said, please stop all the infighting. But in peak Trump form, that's not what happened. Instead, Trump put out a statement saying that he would help McCarthy try and win back the House, but added this ominous quote, President Trump's popularity has never been stronger than it is today. Now, that's not exactly true, but directionally, when it comes to the Republican Party and its voters, that is generally true, which is that Trump is the single most popular figure in the Republican Party by a mile. And he's shown us now that he's going to wield that popularity for one purpose, which is to keep the Republican Party afloat with people who are loyal to him above all. And we saw that when he intervened to keep Kelly Ward the head of the Arizona Republican Party. And now we see it when he called Marjorie Taylor Greene to express his support for her, allowing her to reveal that she would be meeting with Trump in the near future. Now, that's really important to this story because I suspect it was the single most determinative factor in the GOP's decision not to do anything to her and let the Democrats do it. They knew that Greene could rightfully say that the House GOP is crossing President Trump. That's all she needs in her quiver of arrows. In fact, I suspect now that Greene will be more popular than ever before. She has already raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, saying that she's being quote-unquote targeted by the Democrats. That is the key to raising millions of dollars, especially in small dollars, from Republican donors. Many will forgive the things that she said about Jewish space lasers and QAnon and whether the Parkland mass murder was a hoax. And so even though the GOP Senate leader and a number of GOP senators have said that she has no place in their party, when it really comes down to it, it doesn't matter because they don't even have close to the credibility with the Republican base that Trump has. That's the central problem for many years to come. The party's leaders today are just as out of touch and sold out as they were in 2015. Absent Mr. Paul Ryan, of now Wall Street fame, they're actually the exact same people. They've learned nothing. And in many ways, I think they deserve this. Because what are they doing right now? They're not fighting for stimulus checks or stimulus money. They're throwing up every roadblock known to man on the most pressing issue before the American people right now, which is more COVID relief for people, businesses, states, and governments. They are nearly to a T, united in opposition to legislation, which is supported by nearly 80% of the American people. That obviously includes their own base. When Joe Biden keeps troops abroad, they cheer and they celebrate, they don't dissent. The only thing they really opposed Biden on is spending any more money. So of course they don't have any credibility with their base. That leaves the space to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump, who for many people, yes, are outright conspiracy theorists, but give people some reprieve from their frustrations. And the longer that they continue down this path, the more that they will lose. The culture war is the only thing that really unites the right at this moment. And while that is a potent, powerful force, with the albatross of January 6th and Marjorie Taylor Greene-like characters around their neck, it's not enough to win anywhere, except in deep red districts and in deep red states. The suburban whites who left the GOP temporarily for Joe Biden in November will be permanently gone, and you'll be left with a party that speaks to the worst instincts of maybe around 35% of the U.S. population.